What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Steelers Breakdown Podcast. Nick Farabaugh here with you. Let's recap day 5 of Pittsburgh Steelers OTAs, and let's talk a little bit about some of the things I'm seeing, specifically in regard to the team and kind of how things are coming together. First of all, this wide receiver 2 battle is a real battle. I don't think Calvin Austin has the shoe in for the wide receiver 2 role, and that's mainly been because of Roman Wilson. The Steelers have mixed up those reps a little more than maybe I thought they would. And they're giving Roman Wilson the chance to earn that job. If he plays good enough, I really do think he actually has a chance to potentially earn the wide receiver 2 role. Now we'll see, Gabe Davis and other um, kind of players that they could add into the mix. That obviously throws a wrench into things. But as for the players right now on the roster, I mean, I really do think we are looking at Roman Wilson making a push for that role. So we will see how things look. He is playing very well so far. Obviously, since it is just football in shorts and helmets, doesn't matter as much. So we will kind of see if this continues throughout the process and how he starts to look in the preseason, and then, of course, into the regular season. But for right now, I mean, early on, Roman Wilson has really impressed. His routes look sharper. He's always been very sure-handed. That's never been a question with him. But Roman Wilson looks coachable. Getting a lot of praise from Zach Azzani for his route running. So really good signs, I think, for Roman Wilson, the Steelers, and overall just how things are going. I think Calvin Austin, you kind of know what Calvin Austin is, but he's looked fine as well. I do think one interesting thing has been the slot corner position. It hasn't featured some of the players I thought it would feature, and for example, we've not seen Brian Eckles in there. We've not seen Sebastian Castro in there. It has been B. Bishop, Dante Kent, and Deshaun Jameson. Those are the three players that have been the slot corners. And B. Bishop has kind of been the undisputed nickel corner one. That's not that surprising, but I think his competition outside of Kent is a little bit surprising. You thought you maybe would give Castro that a little more, but it seems like kind of their plan right now is to get Castro settled in more at safety, is to get Eckles settled in more at outside corner, and then they're going to kind of try and tinker with it. And if Beanie Bishop or the depth guys aren't playing well, then they might give those guys a shot in the slot later on, just because they don't feel like they need as much kind of preparation for that role. They want, I think, when you look at Castro, for example, I think they want him to be a player that really can be a versatile guy, more than just a slot, can be a strong and free safety. I think with Eccles, you want him to play all three spots if he has to play inside. So I think that they're kind of focusing on the versatility element of things. And so right now, I do think the Steelers are kind of working on that slot corner room, but it's up to Beanie Bishop. And so far, Beanie's had his ups and downs. I wouldn't say he's looked impressive. I wouldn't say he's looked bad. There's been moments where he's had nice plays. There's moments where it's been less than stellar. I will say that I did think that Brandon Eccles has had a nice start, making some plays on the football, sticky man coverage. I have been impressed by him, and I think he and Corey Trace are going to give the Steelers a lot more corner depth than they've had in years past, and it's something that they've needed. I'm not as scared anymore. If Slay or Porter got hurt, I think both those guys are fine depth options at slot at outside corner. We'll see slot corner. Slot corner is still a position, and so is wide receiver that I'm a little worried about. No doubt about it. Still worried about those two positions. I think there are clear weaknesses on the team. They have some players that are performing well right now, but we know as even training camp performances and preseason performance don't always translate into the regular season. So we will see about that. Kaleb Johnson has been drilled to the max with Pass Pro. I think every time I go over to watch the running backs, I see them doing Pass Pro, and it's kind of always focused around Kaleb Johnson, whether it's Eddie Faulkner kind of trying to have other guys show him what to do, whether it's other guys showing him what to do off to the side, whether it's Kaleb asking Faulkner or those other guys questions. Like pass pro is just his focus right now. He doesn't have as much focus on just running the ball or even the receiving side of things because he actually seems like he has some solid hands. I didn't. I think that was a big question, just how good were his hands. He's a natural body, not a natural body catcher. He catches it away from his hand, catches it away from his body with his hands. I think that's a good thing for Kaleb Johnson. You want your guys to be natural hands catchers, and at the running back, I think that's important. So. That's a good sign. And I think the detail-oriented nature of Kaleb Johnson is also a great sign. Wanting to work so diligently at your pass pro weakness is a huge step for the Steelers. And they need these guys, these young guys to embrace that. It hasn't happened all the time in the past. I think Caleb having this fervor for wanting to fix this is so huge. And so when you look at what he brings to the table, I really do think you can kind of map out where things will go if he can really get the pass pro down. And it'll be him playing more and more and becoming the true RB1. Right now, I think we're going to see a committee. I think even with Caleb, even if he had pass pro down, we would still see a committee. I don't think they're going to go full on workhorse here. Jalen Ward, even when Najee Harris was at full workhorse value, when once Jalen Ward popped on the scene, Najee's kind of snap share decreased dramatically from his rookie year when it was almost like 85%, which is just absolutely bananas for any running back, even if they're elite. So we will kind of see. Right now, I think Jalen Warren is still the RB1, but the early downs, I think you're going to see Caleb in there running that wide zone a lot. Tight end is an interesting spot now. Pat Freiermuth has been dealing with some food poisoning. Donald Parham, of course, went down with that torn Achilles. Could they trade for Jonnu Smith? We'll see. Um, I think there is some smoke there. I don't think it's all agent speak. I do think last week it was more agent speak. I think with Parham going down, there's a little bit more of a chance now. I know it's kind of weird. You think, oh, Donald Parham kind of was the impetus for that. Well, he was going to be the number two receiving tight end, and if you can add a guy like Jonnu Smith, who's just so talented, you will. Now, the cost, both contract wise and kind of value wise, is going to be the big question. But the Steelers need a wide receiver too, more than they need a tight end. Now, they will add, I think, a playmaker if they see it fit. But they're going to need a wide receiver too, even if they trade for John Smith. He is not going to be the wide receiver two kind of fix. Um, that's the big thing, and the Steelers are playing a dangerous game here, a little bit with that position. We'll see how that Gabe Davis visit goes. I think they're gonna bring him in today, kind of have him out for dinner, and then tomorrow they'll do like either talk about things or because medicals and all those things will kind of work themselves out. And we'll see if he gets signed and can become part of that room. But even still, I'm not sure he's the complete solution. And so that tight end room right now is kind of wide open. So you have guys like Connor Hayward and JJ Galbraith and DJ Thomas Jones. DJ Thomas Jones having a nice start to OTAs. Coming along way better as a receiver than I thought he would. He's playing fullback. Connor Hayward is also up 10 pounds, he told me, from 230 last year. He's up to 240, which was his college weight, trying to kind of fit himself more into the fullback hybrid archetype. We will see how that looks. But I don't think this group feels like they need Jonnu Smith. They certainly don't think that they need them. I think there's a lot of sentiment about adding, that physical wide receiver two type, because they feel like they're already here at tight end. So we will kind of see where those things go. But just wanted to get on here, talk a little bit about OTAs today for the Steelers, kind of break things down as we learn things. We will be there tomorrow as well to finish off OTAs, and then we'll talk kind of about it in totality rather than in just individual days. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more, everybody. Thanks for listening.